Hey guys, so today's video is a one topic video because Trisha Paytas just dropped a big video about Jeffree Star and Hair by Jay, who is Jeffree Star's friend, just in case you weren't aware, because not many people are aware who he is. I'm sure people are aware who he is, but I just don't like him at all after this video. So today's video is actually sponsored by NordVPN, so let's talk about that for a minute. So if you guys want a huge discount, go on nordvpn.com/Angelika Oles or click the link in description and you'll get an extra month free. So what is NordVPN? It's a VPN service that essentially protects your internet connection from hackers and people that are just trying to get your personal information. It's very useful if you connect to public Wi-Fi's like cafes, hotels, train stations, anything like that. Then you need this. But also if you're at home, you can use this to connect to many different countries. They have servers in over 60 different countries and they update those weekly, so they keep on adding new countries in, so you can connect to anywhere around the world. That will basically help you with country blocked content. Sometimes YouTube videos will be blocked to a certain country, and for example Netflix and Amazon Prime, they all have different content that they provide for different countries. And if you feel like you've spent the last year at home and now you're bored because you've seen everything that Netflix has put out in your country, you can just click over to a different one and just watch content from a different place. There's the UK, there's America, there's Canada, there's Australia. There's so many different places where the content is vastly different. Like, I thought I've seen everything, and then I hopped over to American Netflix and all of a sudden you guys have Scooby-Doo, like all of the old episodes of Scooby-Doo. I'm obsessed. They have both Android and iOS apps, so you can use these on your mobile devices and tablets. So if you do leave the house a lot and you need to connect to more public Wi-Fi's that have lower levels of security, then you can download the NordVPN app and protect your internet connection. They have 24/7 customer service support with live chats, emails, so on and so forth. So if you have any questions or any queries, you can always get in touch with them. You can have up to 6 simultaneous connections at the same time on one NordVPN account, so you and your family can stay protected all at the same time. They have military grade encryption and they are partnered with a top cybersecurity firm, so that everything is super secure and your information is kept safe. It's super risk free. You have a 30-day money back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can get your money back. But I know you'll love it because I've been loving my NordVPN. I literally use it for everything. I use it for work, I use it for watching videos, I use it for watching movies. Like, I literally use it for everything, because you don't realize how much is like region locked until you get a NordVPN. You're like, oh my god, I can access so much more of the internet. So like I said, you guys can go on nordvpn.com/Angelika Oles to get a huge discount as well as a month free, or you can click on the link in my description to protect your internet today and to also get more out of your internet. So let's get into the tea. Here's my Instagram, here's Phoebe's Instagram, who's my puppy, just for some emotional support for everyone during this drama. And then here's my TikTok, because I've been really enjoying TikTok. It's like my fun place where I can just do whatever I want, so that's really fun. And let's just get into it. Trisha Paytas posted this video where she is highly distressed. Like, she is so upset, she's crying, she's basically sobbing. Like, she's so upset that sometimes, at some points, I can't understand what she's saying. So if I get stuff wrong, it's purely because I just didn't understand what she said and I was trying to like guess in between the sobs what the words were, how they were coming out. I'm not laughing at Trisha, I'm laughing at the fact that I couldn't hear her. And I was trying to listen to it at double speed and I had to go to 1.25 because I was like, I'm not understanding what's going on. She starts the video off by showing a live stream of Hair by Jay. Now, Hair by Jay is someone who is on Jeffree's glam team, so he does wigs and hair. I think he's done some famous people. I mean, before he made his Instagram private, I think I saw Chrissy Teigen on there. But she plays his live stream and there's about like 200 people watching it. So for him to be going this hard on Trisha Paytas when you've got 200 people watching you. Anyway, he says things like, lucky Jeffree Star doesn't air dirt out anymore. Like, oh, she's lucky that he doesn't like get himself into drama anymore, or she'll be done for. Like, Jeffree Star's in the wrong here. You guys are the bad guys in this situation. What dirt are we airing out? What, your dirt? The fact that you invited someone out on a holiday, not Jay because he didn't pay for stuff, but Jeffree Star invited someone out on a holiday, someone he considered his friend, well, someone that considered him a friend, and then made them feel like crap the whole holiday. That's the dirt we're airing out, I think. You were such a boring time, referring to the fact that during the holiday, apparently Trisha was really boring to be around, as if she was what, paid to entertain you? Was she the entertainer there? Like, she was invited on a holiday. She's not supposed to be there to make your time better. Like, I'm sorry, what? People get mad when they have something good and lose it because they're stupid. I don't think her losing Jeffree was like a bad thing. If anything, Jeffree lost Trisha because he's the one that wronged her and she's the one that first like distanced herself from him. But I don't think it's a bad thing that she's not associated with him anymore. A year later and your skin still looks like shit, referring to her in the video. She made a video where she spoke about her bad experience with him and his customer service, because he does hair and wigs. She referred to his bad customer service, but she never named him. She was just like, I just had like a really bad experience with one of Jeffree's friends. And he then goes on to pinpoint that in that video, her acne is showing through. And he's like, well, a year later and your skin's still shit. Basically admitting that they did talk crap about her skin on that holiday. Because all this time it was like up in the air, like, oh, did this happen? Did it not? Did Jeffree talk badly about Trisha's skin? Did he not? Because there wasn't really much proof. But here he is admitting it, basically just going like, a year later and your skin still looks shit. Like, admitting that a year ago they were talking badly about her skin. He called her a walrus looking ass. Those were the exact words that he used to describe her. Fat shaming, shaming her skin. I would just love to know in what universe this is appropriate. I would love to know in what universe this is okay. I would love to know where and when, what the situation is where you need to go on your business account, Hair by Jay, an account where you post your work, and fat shame and just appearance shame one of your customers. I would love to know where that's okay. Because if this was anyone else, their business would be shut down. Like I said, he had a whole 200 views. And he was, I don't know where this confidence was coming from. I don't know where he felt like this was something he needed to do. This was something that those 200 people were just eagerly waiting for. Don't you have hair to do? Don't you have a wig to install? Like, don't you have stuff to be doing other than fat shaming people on live? On your business account. Like I said, Trisha Paytas was clearly distressed. She cuts from that to then obviously, like, she plays that at the start of the video and then she kind of goes back and forth saying what she's thinking and then playing a bit of his live stream and then saying what she's thinking. And that's kind of how the video goes. But it is sometimes just very difficult to understand what she's saying because she is so distressed. Like, she's so upset and anxious about what's going on. And I'm gonna get into why, because it might seem like a very trivial thing, like, oh, someone's just talking badly about you. You can ignore it because you're on the internet and you get hate all the time. But I'm gonna get into why she is as anxious as she is, and I think it's quite concerning, and it speaks volumes on the other accusations that have been made against Jeffree Star, which I think are true. So let's just get into it. Jeffree Star is still friends with him. So just in case anyone's like, well, maybe this is like an old friend, like an old acquaintance that he's not friends with anymore. Well, a few days ago he was in Wyoming with him. Because someone pointed out that in Jeffree's last video, in the background, you could see him walking around during like the Kanye situation. Yeah, he was walking around. So quite clearly, why would he take someone that he's not friends with anymore to Wyoming with him to spend time at his house? Like, that just wouldn't happen. So they're quite clearly still close. So his views technically are representing Jeffree Star because he's painting those views as if they are also Jeffree Star's, because he keeps on like referring to it as like, well, Jeffree this and Jeffree that. So he's bringing Jeffree Star into the situation to paint this as if these opinions that he has are shared by both him and Jeffree Star. So Jeffree Star can't just come out now and be like, oh, well, I don't think those things, because like, you invite him to your house, he is clearly your friend, and he's speaking on your behalf, so this must be something that you're saying behind the scenes. So why would he have this confidence to say that? So then she actually goes on to say that Ryland still supports Jeffree Star through the show that he has with one of his friends. Like, you know, the talk show that he has called The Sip. So he had Jeffree Star on there once, and then recently he called Jeffree Star about the Kanye West situation. He had like a little interview with him. So that's twice he's given Jeffree Star a platform now. Shane Dawson keeps on posting like, oh, memories with Jeffree Star on his Instagram stories. They're quite clearly still supporting Jeffree Star, and Trisha actually goes on to say later on in the video that she's expressed these opinions before to both Shane and Ryland and said how poorly Jeffree has treated her, and they still went and hung out with him and promoted him and just never did anything about it. And it's like, if you have this like close friend that you've been friends with for so long, like Shane and Trisha have been friends for years. Jeffree Star is like a more recent friend. For Shane to do that, like, does Jeffree have some kind of dirt on Shane that we're unaware of? Like, why does Jeffree have such a hold on Shane? Like, why does Jeffree it just seems like Jeffree's like grasping onto Shane and Shane can't let go. Like, please explain to me why you need this toxic friend in your life. I'm not saying Shane's a good person by any means. I'm just saying, why do you need Jeffree in your life? He called her broke, said she's renting her house instead of buying it. He's like, she didn't buy her house, she's lying to us. When Trisha was like, well, at no point did I say I bought the house. She's renting like a huge mansion. She's got a pink Rolls Royce. She's got a Bentley. She's got another car. I don't think I'd call her broke. I don't think broke's the word I'd use. Mainly since she did say that the least she makes on OnlyFans a month is like 150k. If I was making 150k a month and you called me broke, I would actually lose my mind. So at that point, it's like, whoa. I just hate it how there's this like thing where people constantly try to make assumptions about how much women on the internet are making. First of all, none of your business. Second of all, you're probably wrong. Do you know how many times I thought I knew how much someone on the internet was making? And then I found out and I was like, okay, sure. I guess I was completely off base. I just hate when there's this like, oh, I bet she's not making as much as she claims she is. Or I bet this is like fake. Or I bet like she didn't buy this, didn't pay for this. Like, why do you care? Why do you care how much people are making? It irritates me because it's always women. I always see it done to women. Like there's like this assumption that like women can't be making a lot of money. And it's always coming from men. It's always men banging on about how much they think a woman is making, how she couldn't possibly make that much money because I guess successful men just don't exist. We just don't have them. No, rich women don't exist. I don't know, it just irritates me. It's something I've noticed on the internet. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like maybe I've just seen it one too many times and I'm like, she makes a lot of money. Trisha Paytas is loaded. She's rich. And I feel like to then be like, oh, she's broke. She's only renting. It just tries to diminish the success that she has reached. Whether you agree with the fact that she should be successful or not is a whole different conversation that I've had many times on my channel. I've spoken about all the problematic things that she has done. Well, I've tried to cover as much of them as possible. And I feel like maybe this conversation is a little bit difficult to have because it is Trisha Paytas and she's a problematic content creator. Like many people don't want to agree with her. Many people don't want to feel bad for her. Understandably so. She has hurt a lot of people. I feel like if we just take Trisha Paytas out of the conversation, just for a minute, just take Trisha out and just put like just a sample of a woman in that conversation. When is it okay to try and diminish someone's success? Like, it's just not. Let's just take Trisha out of the conversation. Like, women are successful. Women are allowed to be successful and be rich and have money. We don't have to diminish their success to make ourselves feel better. That's the PSA for today. Moving on now, let's put Trisha back into the conversation. He says that, and this is the part where she was crying a lot, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. I think he said that someone threw her Balenciaga in the bin or something happened to her Balenciaga. There was a Balenciaga somewhere in there, in that conversation. And then gave something to Rich Lux. If someone could decipher and decode what she said in that moment, I would love to know. Because all I heard was something Balenciaga away and something gave to Rich Lux. I want to know. I want to fill in the gaps. Please, can someone fill in the gaps for me? He called her disfigured in many different like versions of that word regarding her intimate areas of herself. Disfigured is what he called her. We just keep on shaming her appearance. We're doing that. As if there are no like actual valid criticisms he could have made about her character. Like no actual valid like, this is what she's done, this is why I don't agree with her, this is why I didn't want to be friends with her because I find her really problematic. No, none of that. No valid actual criticisms. It's you're disfigured, you look like a walrus, your skin's bad. Like how is that a valid criticism? How is that a representation of her character? Oh, spoiler alert, it's not. Having acne doesn't make you a bad person. Being disfigured, whatever that means, doesn't make you a bad person. Like, can we just stop with this whole like villainizing just regular things that human beings have on themselves? As if you're perfect. I don't know, I just get really heated about this because like with all the valid criticism we can make of Trisha Paytas and her character, we decide to go for acne. Acne is what we're villainizing today. And I also said like all of this over her not wanting to go out. So this whole thing started with the fact that when they went on holiday, they asked her if she wanted to go out and she said no. She didn't want to go out. She didn't want to socialize. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe she was anxious. Maybe someone pissed her off. She didn't want to go out. A human right to not want to go out. And he's doing all of this. You think you're so important. There is this like level of ego and self-importance with expecting people to want to spend time with you. People don't owe you their time. Also, you didn't pay for the holiday. I don't know why you're so angry, bringing up money. Oh, Jeffree paid for this, Jeffree paid for... Yeah, Jeffree paid for that, not you. So if Jeffree paid for the flight, and Jeffree paid for Mariah Carey tickets, and Trisha decided to not go to said concert, then why do you have a problem with it and not Jeffree Star? And why are you speaking on his behalf when not a single penny of your money went towards Trisha Paytas and that holiday? Why are you so angry? Not your money. Not your business. She also says, you know, like she never asked them to, well, she never asked Jeffree to pay for anything. Like the flight that he paid for, she offered to like pay her part. The Mariah Carey tickets, she said, I'll pay for them myself. Everything that was paid for by Jeffree, she offered to pay for herself, but he didn't let her. Now, I find that the manipulative part, hear me out. I think Jeffree Star has this thing where because he's rich, he thinks having money is a good way to manipulate people. I think he offers to pay for things, doesn't let you contribute. Like if you're like, oh no, I've got this. He's like, no, I'll pay. And then when you get into an argument later on, he's like, well, I paid for your flights. Well, I paid for this, as if you didn't offer to pay for them. I feel like he's one of those people where he does this like good deed so he can then hold it over your head for the rest of your life. Now, hear me out. Is that why Shane Dawson is still friends with him? It's the good deed coming out of that makeup palette, because in the documentary, Jeffree Star kept on banging on about how Shane Dawson is heavily underpaid as a content creator, that his deals are always so bad. He's just doing this good deed, helping him make millions of dollars from this makeup palette. Is that the good deed that he's holding over Shane Dawson's head? She calls them mean girls because there was actually another situation where Jeffree Star, I think she said it was Jeffree Star, either Hair by Jay or Jeffree, I think it was Jeffree Star, slapped her hand away when she reached for food. I had to pause the video. He slapped her hand when she was reaching for food. No, you will starve today. How does he still have friends? Well, because they're all as mean as him. He just finds these mean girls off the internet. He's like, we'll all be mean girls together. So she says that she's genuinely scared. And that's the part where I'm like concerned. So apparently Jay just beats people up. And this isn't even her words. He said it himself. He makes threats throughout the whole live stream. She also goes on the H3 podcast when I watched it. They called her up and she said that there was a video of him fighting people in Six Flags. Like he jumps into a fight. Six Flags. Six Flags is where we're going to fight. A family outing. Six Flags, we're going to fight. So then she also talks about the fact that he doxed her on the live stream. He showed her company name, which has now been breached because obviously it was like private information. People found it. They're like, you know, he showed her phone number. He also on the live stream said, if we invited her out tomorrow, she'll come out, as if like she doesn't have other friends. He's basically trying to diminish her as a person, saying she doesn't have other friends, she's desperate to hang out with them, and that she'll accept disrespect from them because she's so desperate to hang out with them. And that's the image that he's painting of Trisha Paytas right now by saying, oh, well, I mean, I could say all of this and she'll still come out with us tomorrow. I'm glad that she has like Ethan and Hila now, because I feel like that gives her some like, you know, like friends that aren't friends with. It's not like all connected. Do you know what I mean? Like when there's like a friendship group and you fall out with one person, it feels like you're falling out with everyone. And I feel like Hila and Ethan are so separated from all of that even when all of this is falling apart, she still has them to rely on. He says if she had confidence, she wouldn't show the scars on her boobs on the internet. As if like her having scars on her boobs is like the worst thing to happen on the internet. Like she has scarring because she had like plastic surgery. So now she has a scar, which is like a normal thing to happen. Also people have scars for random reasons, like accidents, other surgeries, like not plastic surgeries, but like other surgeries, plastic surgeries. You get scars for random reasons. They don't make you ugly. He's acting like she can't post nude photos on Twitter because she has those scars, as if that's like a disgusting thing to come across. Do we see the kind of character this is? Do we see the kind of person this is? And if Jeffree Star is hanging out with him, and this is what he's doing publicly, what is he doing privately? And how is Jeffree Star okay with being friends with him? Oh, right, because he's just the same. He's exactly the same. Don't you know I'm crazy? Why would you F with me? When I'm done with you, you'll look anorexic. As if, once again, is anorexia some kind of an insult that I missed? Like, is this a new trend? Are we just calling people anorexic? When I'm done with you, you'll look anorexic. How does that make any... He also, this is all happening because she complained about his customer service, because when they were on that trip, apparently Jeffree Star was going to cover the wig installation so that when they were like going out, she had a wig styled and put on her. Apparently Jeffree Star was going to cover all of it. She was like, what's the price of this? I'll cover it. But she like wanted to know the price, and they made fun of her for wanting to know the price, as if like that's not a reasonable thing to... I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire, you gotta know what you're paying for. They didn't tell her the price, and she leaves the trip early because they are, you know, treating her poorly. And Jeffree doesn't cover the wig and then makes her cover the wig herself. So she had a wig done, not fully. He like didn't fully do the wig because they didn't have time. It's like partial wig. He charged her $4,000 for it. Of course she's going to complain about your customer service, because I would complain too. I would just not pay him. I'm sorry. If you don't finish your job, all right? He like made her take out the wig herself. If you don't finish your job and then you decide to charge me $4,000 for it, you're not seeing that $4,000. The $4,000 is not entering your bank account. How can you charge someone for a service that you didn't tell them the price of in the first place when they asked? Like, they asked you for the price, you didn't tell them. It was supposed to be covered by someone else. It wasn't. You didn't finish the job, and now you're expecting $4,000. Beyond me how this is happening. So she complained about it, rightfully so, without naming his business, out of, you know, respect. And he's now threatening her. Then she actually posts a few TikToks where she's quite clearly afraid. She actually on the podcast spoke about the fact that there was like a weird guy taking pictures of her cars outside of her house. She has 2 bodyguards outside of her house, and she's with Moses all the time, who's her fiance. And she just posts a lot of TikToks about the situation. Jeffree Star then responds on Twitter, and he says, I have personally apologized to Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas, and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it, and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama, not interested. What someone else says does not represent me, and that's to do with a tweet saying, Jeffree Star, if you support what's said to Trisha Paytas in that video, you are trash. I don't care what kind of money you have. This is mean girl behavior. You need to apologize and fire hair by Jay. I agree. But also, Jeffree Star is trash. So, why do I care if he fires him, doesn't fire him? Still a trash person. Someone said, imagine if we didn't have social media and no one would know what others did or thought. Exactly, I've already said my piece to her, and if she ever wants to call or text me back, she will. What Jay said on live was disgusting and does not reflect how I've ever felt. I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm screaming it. No, you're not screaming it, because in the last tweet you said, don't drag me into new drama. Not interested. Doesn't sound like you're very sorry. Someone says, why would you want that little shit working for you? You're a professional business owner. Professional is a little steep. Professional is a little steep. Don't have people like that in your life. What he said was so incredibly mean and wrong. He's a little bully and you are better than that. I've been in Wyoming and had no idea what was going on. Just catching up now and I'm horrified by what he said. Let's not pretend I had any part in that. But you did, because you contributed to this whole video even existing. If you and him didn't treat Trisha like shit on holiday, none of this would have happened. Let's not act like his views don't represent yours. I just landed back in LA and there's fires happening. It's 89 degrees outside and windy, and somehow I'm being dragged into someone else's mess. Turn the plane right around by. What's that got to do with anything? Oh my god. Trisha quote tweets his original tweet and says, if you don't want to be involved in drama, why is he speaking your name in the video on your behalf, confirming all the horrid stuff you guys said about me? I've been cool, but he is speaking on your behalf multiple times in all his feeds. He then responds and says, you've ignored all my messages and texts for months, yet want to have an internet circus with an audience. No thank you, love you girl, you can call or text me anything. Trisha then posts a TikTok basically being like, he clarified it like didn't represent his views. It's like, okay Jeffree. And I think he's scaring her. I think he scares her and she's scared to fully admit that he's an evil person. So she keeps like tiptoeing around it. But she's like, oh yeah, he's a bad person, but like, oh, he scares me. So like, she doesn't want to go full in just like saying that he's a bad person. This whole situation is awful. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. Hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and any other links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.